Clap your hands now.
So there was a 3 o'clock cabinet reshuffle, and I'm here just when you thought you were leaving. So they always tell me to put this slide up. So hello, my name is Bongani. I'm from HDI Youth Marketeers. So I want to start off with what happens and then show you the statistics. So when we define youth, we define them as kids first, and I've got 3 boys, 7, 8, and 12, and they always want to be older. My son asked me, why do I have E-rated songs on my phone and he doesn't? And it was a very hard explanation because I teach him not to swear, and it was a very tough conversation. And then teens want to be free, and those who are parents in here, we all know how difficult that is. Then young adults from 19 to 26, and they want their dreams fulfilled. So these are the need states that we find our youth in on the continent. Now, just to show you how young our continent is, I mean, 50% of the South African population is aged under the age of 24. So that says a lot. I mean, Nigeria is 63, Kenya is 62. So we are a very young continent. And when you look at the UK, it's like 20%, and that's why maybe they're struggling with Brexit. But you can see that here, this is where the sweet spot is for marketeers, politicians, anybody who wants to engage with the South African population. You have to go youth. And a wise man once said, and that's me, but our point of departure at HDI, and something that I'm very passionate about, is when you're dealing with low-income consumers, especially youth, is I hate it when people believe that poor people need to be rescued. Because when I grew up, I remember, and the guys in the room would play soccer, you'd get bricks, and you'd measure like this, put bricks there, you'd get checkers plastics. For those who don't know, checkers plastics is plastic bag. So you get checkers, you get a rope, put it together, and you play soccer. I didn't know about an Adidas ball until somebody told me that. So low-income consumers don't require rescuing. And that's why we've seen a great success. ShopRite, Whitey Person, I believe he deserves his 100 million that he went with, because he created a brand that understood the needs of it. It was everyday low prices, finish and clear. And he took the brand from Stellenbosch all the way to Cairo. And he did a success. Capitec, I'll refer to them later with their visceral issues, but that's a discussion for another day. But this morning I ran 6 kilometers, and the president walks 5 kilometers. But on my run, I can literally run from the wealthiest spot on the continent to the poorest spot on the continent. That's Alex, for those who don't know, especially the Cape Townians, and that's Santon. And they're literally a stone throw away from each other. So our physical world is the most unequal. But what digital has done is those barriers don't exist anymore. So Nomza Mombata is now in Kenya. She's taken her fan base with her. So now young people believe it's possible. I'm sure young people now can tell you about Miami and LA because Casper was there signing for Coca-Cola. So when you're communicating, you stop. We need to get to a point where we don't box people because they are in, okay, I won't refer to Soweto because that's not a township anymore. They are in Langa or Tembisa or in Alex and believe that they don't know any better. The language of aspiration needs to die, because what digital has done is they show you that everything is possible when they see young people like Nomza going.
So we've always been at this thing. Just because we were not on the streets, it does not mean we stopped fighting for the access to higher education and the success within it.
So that was Fees Must Fall. And this is how other people responded. Now, the gentleman here, for those who don't know, it's our former president. He responded to say free education on the Friday before the ANC conference. But he was not responding to the youth. He wanted votes for NDZ. But this young man responded to the needs of the youth. And this is the reaction that he got. So when brands and people respond to the need state, the youth will respond. So when you're a brand person, know that even on the digital spaces that we now all in, the youth will respond to the need state. Capitec, this brand, and excuse the whole Stellenbosch Mafia stories and stuff. These guys have done well. Stellenbosch Mafia or no Stellenbosch Mafia. They were established 2001, and they've become one of the most successful banks in the world. Digitally, they're better than FNB. I remember when I ran my own ad agency a couple of years ago, and we used to pay what we call promoters, and we did a lot of work in the townships, and most of our people were from there. About 90% of all payments that I made were at Capitec. And that was 2012. So when Viceroy decided to attack, this is the response they got. Because the youth don't care. Capitec is still giving them one product, one price, and that's all they care about. So Viceroy can publish whatever they want. The youth actually, they might understand share price models, but Capitec is giving them what Capitec is giving them. I mean, Capitec has got a branch for those who stay in Bryanston, Bryanston Shopping Center. That's not targeted to, quote unquote, the white monopolists who stay in Bryanston or the privileged blacks. It's targeted at Bosisi and John, our Gardner, you know, because they understand the market. So when you go to Capitec in Bryanston, don't think they're lost. They know what they're doing. So there are three brands, guys. There was one that was established in 2000. Another brand was established in 2013. And one's been with us since 1912. And the one has got 49% youth following. The other is 30. And the other is 14. Now these three brands, it's interesting, don't you think? How the AFF, from 2013, when we all thought Julius was gone with the Limpopo scandal, still around with us, and he's speaking and getting resonance to 49% of the youth that he engages with. The ANC has been around for a very long time. And again, guys, this is where the battleground is going to be for the 2019 elections. Because Julius owns the narrative. He announced the cabinet before the president. Very sad. It's a joke, but very sad, because he's always ahead of the narrative. He basically told us what's going to win, what's going to happen, and now media houses are starting to quote him. He understands digital. He understands engagement. So your brand needs to get there and understand what the youth and what resonates with them, what their need state are, because then you need to respond quickly. So now, I had to compromise at work to show you the statistics. So how do youth express themselves? So I knew my son was growing up when he started wanting to love music. Sports a big thing. I remember going around looking for his first pair of sneakers, and I'd budgeted 600 Rand. What was I thinking? I tried to negotiate with the young man, and because I've empowered him with the phone, he showed me a picture of some Adidas shoes that were 2,200. That conversation stopped there, and I was like, okay, I think Santa will organize something for you. So they're also very aware of fashion. They've got access to all the tools that we've got access to. When it comes to how they communicate with their friends, I'm sure you all know you hear, I've been kicked off an Instagram group, a WhatsApp group. This kid, he says he's cooler than me. And you're managing all that. But again, guys, face-to-face is still important. And then there's cell phone conversations, because voice is not dying yet. And then it's social media platforms. But the interesting part, guys, is this slide. So we do a survey called Generation Next. We go out and interview about 5,000 youth across the country. And for those getting consent in the room, it's skewed towards townships as well. So you find that 91% of the youth we engaged with last year have got cell phones. 69% of them, it's smartphones. 50% of them access internet every day. So when you're dealing with township youth, it's sacrosanct to know that they've got smartphones. It means that whatever the kids in Bryanston are doing, even the kids in Tembisa, Langa, Umlazi are also doing it. And going further, it's all about data, guys. Data, data, data. I laughed the other time when we got a client and the client was like, go out to the universities and what we're going to give away is data. We debated for a long time. No, it's like, I want to give away data. Now when you go to WITS and UJ, the students were like, guys, we've got Wi-Fi. So, like, why should we even engage, you know? So it's important to understand your market and what's going on with them. And you see how these trends change. So, again, I always refer to my kids, it's a battle about staying on your cell phone, on your iPad for long, but they're getting longer and longer on the devices. When you look at kids and teens, how long they're staying, so we also get into a bit of race because we are a racial country. And then we also get into, just to make sure everybody's balanced, males and females. So males spend more time, I don't know what they're up to, but they spend more time. I'm sure my wife would respond. Maybe it's just avoidance. It starts at a young age. But they spend more time longer than females, as ladies want to express themselves more. What do they do online? So it's instant messaging. They're not different from us. I'm sure some of you are on WhatsApp. I'm almost finished. This guy's taking long, you know. just park there a bit. Downloading games, for those who are bored, I'm sure you play games. The teens also do that. Social media, and then research for school and varsity. So what are they doing on social media? It's a scary thing, but it's about connecting. So keeping in touch, meeting new people. We're hoping they're meeting the right people in the world that we're living in. Looking at posts, photos, keeping up with trends. So it's about a connected world. And just like us, they're craving to be connected. I always find it strange at my age that I get a Facebook request. I'm like, dude, I'm like done. Like, I got my friends, you know? like, so why are you? And then I go in, I'm hoping it's not a Chinese bot trying to give me fake news, you know? So, but for them, they get excited. I remember my son, he had gone away on Christmas, and he SMSes me, can I get onto Instagram? And we had to put rules. I have to vet who's following you, and I have to. He says, can I get on Snapchat? I'm like, dude, like, just please, for my own heart, just let's stick with Insta for now. So they're wanting to post about followings and connecting with friends. So connection is important. Coolest social media platforms, again, it says for itself, but you see it skews across the ages as people get more access and parents release them more out into the digital world. You see that Facebook starts to grow with young adults. So just in terms of, I said, so active on social media, as I said, you see, so from the kids' perspective, it's about communicating with mom. So that's why Facebook is not growing, but as they get older, you see that Facebook gets older. So it's about when parents feel that they can give their kids more access. It will be interesting now that Facebook has launched Facebook for under 13s, I think, how those statistics will change once it hits our shores. Again, so I'll start from the bottom. So don't have your brand account telling them what's cool, because the international celebrities are telling them. So for them, they follow international celebrities. Friends are a big influence on them. Sports stars, fashion accounts, but mainly I think international, local celebrities. But again, we're starting to view this thing and we're starting to call them tribes. So there's a move away from celebrities to tribes. So you've got skaters, you've got artists, you've got photographers, and they're starting to build tribes. And it's about how do brands start penetrating those tribes. Because everybody knows that Casper was in Cape Town today, and then tomorrow he's in a private jet, he's in Durban, and then he's in Joburg. They all know that some brand is sponsoring it. As much as it's successful, I don't think he's at a Learjet place yet, you know? So they know about those things. So it's about being authentic. Although that stuff is cool, but if you really want to get the results, it's about being authentic. TV is not dying, guys. No matter how many people tell you, and there are a few reasons. Family time is important for youth, and because of the skew that we've got as a nation, there is no fiber yet in Tembisa, by the way. So family TV time is still important, but then at the same time, when they've got data, they're multi-consuming. So they still do the same thing. I mean, if I want to know what's going on Date My Family or Our Perfect Wedding, I don't watch those shows. I just need to go to Twitter. Then I know, oh, some dodgy guy went here, you know. So they're also doing multi-consuming. Radio is big, but then also digital magazines and newspapers. But magazines and newspapers is mainly on digital platforms. So as I said, that you see that, and this is also about access. What this shows you is as they move to varsities and leave home and get access to Wi-Fi and different places. I mean, they get as creative as go to KFC and buy a meal or McDonald's just to be there for about an hour or so on the Wi-Fi. And I always say that for brands, maybe it's a good thing to be on campus and supply more Wi-Fi hotspots. So as a solution, and you get brand advocacy. McDonald's and KFC clearly are getting that. And then so you see, so TV starts dropping, and then internet usage starts growing as they become young adults. And obviously then it's job searching, trying to start businesses and all the things that matter to young adults. Again, so preferred brand communication. And I'm not sure what change WhatsApp for Business is going to have, but they want to be instant communication. They want to have conversations and television, and face-to-face activations will never die, and they will be with us for a while. I see it's 2 minutes at the back. Let me rush through this. So guys, it's always about access, available everywhere, make me feel like a VIP and make it affordable. And then the West brand connectors. There was a lady here, I agree with her, making false promises, being too pushy. So like, don't just push product, you know, it's about experiences. That's what's important. So I'll play this. So what? Let me finish quickly. I'm at 0 there. So brands need to have a greater purpose, guys. The myth is that the youth don't care. They do care. So they have to see your brand doing some change in the communities that they operate in. Understand your route to market. Digital is key, social media, but also face-to-face interactions. Be consistent and authentic. Don't try too hard. Be who you are as a brand. You don't know what you don't know, and it's okay. You know, ask them. We've got what we call, I have to do a sell job a bit. We've got what we call the youth board. So if you want to understand youth, we've got young people we can bring into your business. They'll sit there and tell you what's going on the street. And then locate your brand in youth culture. I always say to people, don't force people from where they are. It's like when people opened car washes in the north, because why were black people driving cars to wash their cars on a Sunday? There's a reason why. Because they want to feel like it's a freedom for them. They want to go back home, and it's cool. So don't bring people out of where they're from. And from me to you, thank you.